Hello, Greg here again with another video to help you transform your business, transform lives. In this video, we're going to take a look at how we can use the AI Odoo Accelerator I've created, the AI automation workbench, and we're going to get a little bit deeper. In the last video, we took one of my sites and we went through and created tasks and descriptions for tasks, and you got a chance to see the data get created. We're going to dive deeper, but I want to just review real quick for the people that didn't see the other video, perhaps, that we can really rapidly get something that would take literally hours, and for sure minutes, even if you're copying and pasting around. And then you still don't have it well organized. And that's the beauty of Odoo combined with AI. It's a powerful, powerful synergy, as you will see as we go through these videos. So I'm going to come up here to this site proposals. And this is my website. If you go to the home, siteproposals.com, the idea of this is that a lot of people, they have ideas for businesses. They have skills in certain areas and certain parts of doing it, but it's difficult to do it all. And that's something that I think Odoo partners, Odoo integrators, consultants, and so forth, that, that's where we stand, is helping companies do this. And I would say taken that to a little bit of a next level. And if I click on premium domain names, you can see that here's some domain names that you can purchase with a complete Odoo implementation. You get my mastering Odoo development, you get all these things. I'll click on one of these just so you can see it. So anytime you would buy this, you get a turnkey business setup, you get the 100% Odoo open source, you're going to get the AI mastermind tool and all that, best-in-class training, and my strategy workshops. Simple enough. So I'm not here to discuss this business, my business here, but I'm here to show you how my AI automation tool integrates with Odoo. So we can come up here with this, click this here, say detailed project outline, and we'll click include HTML. Now, I didn't show this last time, but I can click this link and actually see the HTML that it's going to send over to Odoo. It's going to clean it up a little bit, but it's going to make sure that all of the core content is there so that it can properly create the project. So it knows which model these templates come from, and we're going to look at that code today and see exactly how it gets these templates, loads them into the Chrome extension, and then submits the HTML with the description here. So I'm going to say, please create me a project outline for creating businesses. I'll say creating websites and YouTube channels with all the domains on this page in the HTML. And then I'm going to say, make sure to include all of the domains, because there's a bit with AI that just a bit of redundancy seems to take it from working 80% of the time to working 95% of the time. So we're going to do that. And when I click run template, you'll notice it says success project ID 646. Now, some of that was the 646 was for debugging purposes when I was first building this. But what you'll notice is it created a project in Odoo, and now I have a link to take me directly to it. So I talked a lot, but that could have really been done in just like 2 minutes. And like in our video yesterday, I was a little quick getting here, and the AI is still processing in the background. If I refresh, it'll probably be here soon. Let's go double check. See, look at our job queue, and we can see it started. So we can see that it started here, and it's running now. So it's waiting on the OpenAI interface, the API. And that's why the job queue is so important. I don't think I would even consider building an AI solution in Odoo if it didn't have the job queue under it. I'm using the well-tested, reliable OCA job queue with enhancements and with some extra functionality. If I refresh again, now we can see that it's on to generating pictures for the project. So it's done. And I can click on, let me go to one that's actually completed, and we'll see here the detailed project outline. So it took 23 seconds. It felt long, but you can see here all those domain names from the website. It would have taken me time to type in, would have been a big pain, actually. There they are. And there's the outline for everything that it concludes as I concluded I needed to do. The beauty is I didn't have to type hardly anything, and it inferred a lot of information. So it's, it's saying, here's your content creation. You can have your YouTube channel development, strategies, video production, promotion, and the marketing strategies. And it has, up here, the domain list, which is important too. So if we go back, I have a link here, the record URL, where we can go back to the project and we'll see it. Here it is. And you'll see there's our pictures that got automatically created from the prompt. So that's basically kind of what we looked at yesterday. We actually created tasks yesterday, and I can go ahead and just do that because it'll do it in the background while I move on. I just come up here and say, create project tasks and run, and that's it. It's going to create tasks. Maybe it'll create 7 because there's 7 here. Sometimes it creates more, sometimes it creates less. One of the things, AI is volatile. You're not going to get the same result twice by design. They literally have a seed randomizer, and that's what the temperature is. So when we're looking at AI models and you'll see a temperature, I believe the higher the temperature, the more creative. And once you get up above about a 1.5 or even like 1.2 temperatures, then it's like hallucination time, and it'll actually create really weird stuff. If you raise the temperature enough, you'll literally just get like garbage data. So you can fine tune the models that you use, and we can look at that later. But anyway, how did this work? What was the process? I want to kind of show some of the back end now that got us to here, so people can see it's not just smoke and mirrors and the bones underneath all this. And I think I've said it before, but there'll be links down below, and you can get this now for a big discount, because this is during Odoo Experience, but I will always have some, the best prices will always be in the links below. It's just simple as that. I usually don't do sales. It's 80% off now, but I can promise you it's not going to be 80% off once it's complete. It's in early access now. And it's especially not going to be at this price with my Mastering Odoo Development series, which I have sold for $4,000 for the past 3.5 years, 4 years, and that with no sales. So this is a special time. It's a new product. So now is the time if you're interested to jump into this. So what does that, where do we start with looking at the source code? I'm going to jump here and look at the AI generator controller. So the controller is really what interacts with the Chrome extension you saw. The Chrome extension is a powerful, powerful part of this. Without the Chrome extension, you're stuck copying and pasting things into Odoo, which, it's not the worst thing in the world. But if you want a smooth workflow, especially if you're an integrator, you're an Odoo partner, you want to be able to, for your clients, provide them something that makes it like they're getting value and that their time is not wasted copying and pasting things around. That's the whole point of this. So obviously, when you purchase this, you get the source code. And right now, during this time, I'm providing all of the upgrades for free. I literally am probably going to move this to a subscription service so that you'll pay like a per month to have the source code, all the latest updates. And then that way, people that really want to be active, want to be part of the development, want all of the latest upgrades as they keep coming, can get them. But here we go. Right now, I'm giving lifetime free upgrades. So the very first thing that happens when you pull this up here, then you'll notice it says loading templates for just a second, but Odoo's pretty fast. And so how does that work? How does it get this list of templates from Odoo into the Chrome extension? Well, it starts right here where we have a route that has the actual path to the templates. It's a JSON type, meaning it's expected to receive JSON. It's not expecting to receive HTML. It's JSON. it has a user authentication, which means it does have an API key on the Chrome extension. So not anyone can just pull my list of templates. It has to have the proper API key. The SRF is false. What that's telling you is it makes it easier to, I'm running this local host, I'm talking with other websites, I don't want to have to worry about security certificates and there's so much acronyms and things that escape me, but there's it's like a two-way handshake. It's still, it allows you to do it without having to have like a robust security policy behind it. Now, this might change for some people. So this would be an example we talked to in workshops where this might not be appropriate. But right now it's in early access. It's in a testing phase. It's running locally on my machine here or on cloud machines that I have a lot of control over. So I'm not really concerned about that at this point. So what's it do to get the templates? There's my model, AI template, and you can see I have a show in web app field so that I can narrow the list down, which I need to do. It's getting long. And then we have an order so that it always shows the latest template that was used at the top. I create the data for that template here. So I have the ID, template ID, the name, and for template. In templates, this is what takes the data that comes back from the Odoo search and turns it into JSON data. And then we have a response that says that it was true. So this is our result we're sending back, and that the template data is template data. It passes it in, and that's it. Once it does this response, the data is headed back to the Chrome extension. Rather simple, not really complicated. Next, what happens when you click the Run Template button? Now let's see what happens if I click it now. And there, you'll see that I get error inserting data because I have no template selected. I have nothing. It might make it a little more elegant when final production, but for early access, you get a message, what's happened, and it says fail. So what happens when it's successful, like it was here in this case, and we actually get the data sent over to Odoo successfully and create the project? Let's look at that. That'll probably be pretty much where we're going to wrap this video up, because I want to keep these videos kind of short. I want people to be able to ask questions down in the comments and say, this is what I want to know more about. What else does it do? How could I do this? How could I do that? Ask me. So you'll notice we have a different route that says process text. Probably could be better named, but this is type HTTP. Now, I had it as JSON originally when I was just sending the name and the description, but now I have it so you can attach files, and it'll any files you attach in the Chrome extension, it will send them in. And when I changed it to that, I had to change it away from JSON, because JSON doesn't, unless you did something fancy on the Chrome extension, you wouldn't be able to, have your attachments in JSON. And that's kind of critical. I want to keep the Chrome extension light and clean, and that most of the work, we put on Odoo on the back end. And I think the Chrome extension is going to get more, I wouldn't use the word complex, it's going to be more feature filled, but it's certainly going to have a lot more options and features as time goes on. But already right now it serves its purpose as a web scraper spider kind of thing. So the rest of this is the same. The only thing that changed was HTTP, and that was because of the file upload. So I do a lot of logging, and I started using colors, log colors, so that I could see in the log. So if I go here and look at it right now, see there's the data that was created. So I'm putting a lot out, but you can see like right here, I'm having green, and I use yellow whenever I go into like major huge sections. So when I call the processing of the actual template itself into the main procedure for that, comes out in yellow here. And then I actually shoot the HTML out right now in the debug so I can see it. And then the green I use for showing that everything was successful and the job was completed successfully, and we can see the actual HTML that it's sending back across. Now you'll notice here we had like an actual error in the AI generation of some kind. So I'll want to check and see if that was related to something in my code, but oftentimes it can just be related to something that has to do with the Odoo itself, the AI itself, the open AI. And that's why we have the job queue, because the job will fail, it'll retry the job, and then the next time it'll work, because AI is volatile that way. And I have some built-in error checking that we'll get into in a future video. It'll show you how I automatically inject the error back into the prompt when it fails, so that the next time around the prompt has the error in it. It's important for the creation of data. So you can see there's a lot that happened to create all this data right now. And it does look like I'll have some things to work on here. So if I go down and let's look at the code a little bit more. The first thing I do is I get the HTTP request, I turn it into a dictionary here. And once I get that raw form data, I extract the description, the name, the HTML content. So this is where it gets HTML content. It literally just comes over as one of the JSON elements into here. We have the URL of what was processed, because that can be useful. And then we have the template ID, because we need to know the template that you chose on the Chrome extension, right? We have the metadata that will let us get metadata regarding the response, and that data is actually coming from a process on the Chrome extension that gets us everything we can know about the page. So like the languages, what the localization is, what their browser is, those kinds of things that is in the metadata of the page. And here you can see we have this try on the metadata, because the metadata sometimes is not available, or it tends to be more volatile. So we have a way that if we don't get it and it can't process it correctly, we'll just not worry about the metadata. It's better to go ahead and process the name and the description and everything else, because most likely if it doesn't have the metadata, maybe you weren't even on a web page when you ran the Chrome extension, because that's entirely possible. And the Chrome extension locks out a lot of its functionality, like if you're on certain pages that have like settings or have certain kinds of things on them. So that's just keep in mind. Here we call a method that classifies and generates the record for whatever model the template's associated with. So while it's named project here, project name, project description, that was kind of my original when I was building this out. I was really using the project manager as like the foundation for organizing everything, and realize that, well, hey, if we can, get the project manager to collect and organize and manage this data, then we can process the tasks and the projects and things in it to do other things like create web pages or create courses or create products or go out to other systems and create things. So, but now it's able to do that, and I control click this and see that we're passing in the description, the project name, metadata, URL, the HTML, and the template ID. Now, notice that the really only thing we care about is name and description. When I said I could do it with any project, I have a roadmap so that we're going to do, or any model. But the nice thing about just name and description is that works with courses, it works with projects, it works with products, it works with a lot of things. So yeah, and so it's allowed it to, even though this part is kind of a high priority in the next 30 days, so that it can be really a lot more flexible. You'll notice it here when I have to look up the template. So this just finds the template, and if we don't find the template, then we want to raise a warning, no template found. And I say raise a warning because it's possible that maybe we do want at some point to be able to do things that are not from the Chrome extension that are not related to AI template processing. We will see how that evolves. But here's kind of the important part of the creation. I actually put a comment here. The record in the target model. like that. So we take the model name from the template, throw it in here using a pseudo, because it's a user API key. They don't have pseudo rights, but they have, user authentication rights, which is a kind of a best practice. If you need to do pseudo, you don't have a pseudo key. You do it here in the code for the special circumstances, like in this case, to create a record. And we pass those data vals along. So it's pretty simple. I, in fact, would probably prefer it to look like this. I'll do little things like this to help you guys out or help me out, is that I think it's a good idea to have, if you're taking data to put into here, there's no use creating it way up here. We can create it right here, just the same. So we create the data, we put the data in, that's going to create our record. In this case, in our last examples, it's been a project record. Then we log, we have a log message that we're going to log out the metadata. So I basically just log out the metadata where it actually loops through the items and logs out the metadata here. So we have, the metadata is a dictionary of multiple different types. Like I said, the name, the URL I think is in there as well. The language, the browser they're using, those kinds of things. Then I actually I've used this a lot, is I like using the open chatter, they call it, where you can put notes and messages inside of your model. And that is very valuable because now I don't have to go looking through logs or anything. We have the log of what happened, important information. We can just put them right into the record itself. It's associated with the product. That means I can come back 3 weeks later, look through and see exactly what happened, how that record got created, why, what was in the content when it got created. I know the metadata from the page. So it's kind of like a preservation and audit of the entire workflow. And that combined with the job is pretty powerful. Now, we haven't done the job yet, but here we say if there is HTML, and I actually have a log to chatter flag, because it can get, you don't necessarily want to just create a lot of data if you don't need it, but if you're like debugging the template, you can check the log to chatter to debug the template. Makes it kind of nice. And then I have it just out to the debugger that we created the record in this model with this ID. So this, is just useful for seeing what happened inside of everything. Now, one thing I'm going to say is I use a lot more debugging in my AI development and building out this framework than I used previously, because AI programming, when you're actually using ChatGPT to create things, it's just a lot more volatile. And so you always want to know what's going to happen, not just when you're calling the API too, and actually the API part, because you need to know if it's getting all the data and all the processes correct and everything is in line before it sends it there. So there's just generally a lot of upfront debugging. And then there's a lot of afterwards where you want to know what happened after it happened. So you need a lot of information before you call OpenAI or Hugging Face or your own local models. And then you need a lot of information afterwards. And so here is another part of the framework that I think is really powerful, is everything has a data accessible to OpenAI through a model I call ai.template.data. And you can see here, I have the template ID, the model ID, and then I actually say, with the ID. Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure this was correct, and this could probably be cleaned up. We have the AI model. So there's the Odoo model and there's the AI model. So the Odoo model might be project. The AI model is the GPT-4o or GPT-4 mini. Then you have the model, so this would be the model ID, the Odoo model ID, the record that this is associated with. So it would be the project record in this case, and then the source URL. But here is one of the important parts, is the key. And I put this key HTML. The framework is designed so you could say key anything. You could say key ebook, key PDF, key docx, key whatever you need, so that then when it's time for the template to be processed by OpenAI, you can reference this data in the prompt. And so in this case, we can reference the HTML data in the prompt. And that's powerful. We can reference it in the template. And that's powerful because maybe you have a template that doesn't even need to do anything with HTML, then you leave the data HTML out of the template. If you need it in there, you put it in there. And I have a check so that if the data is not available, it looks the key up, it can replace that out with a placeholder, an empty string, or a null, something, so it doesn't break the template apart. One of the things about LangChain, this is kind of a pro tip, LangChain, if a value is not available in the template, you have a template prompt and there's a value in there and it's not in your data set, it'll break. And there's no really easy way to get around that, which to me is remarkable. At least I should say between ChatGPT, the internet, and my research, I could not find an easy way. And so we clean the HTML content. I don't need to probably show that method. And the HTML gets put into the content. So every single response from the AI, whether it's a picture, whether it's a text response, will also generate data inside of AI template data. And this is, again, I think this is really powerful because this is what lets us chain templates together. It's what allowed us yesterday to create tasks from the project and then the description of the tasks and then the subtasks from the tasks and so on, is that there's a chaining mechanism so it can know what the previous job did, and not just the previous job, but all the jobs in the chain. Even better, if you had an advanced workflow, you could literally use content that happened months and months ago, as long as you had the right, the model ID and the key. And then you could even say just by keys, so you could take data that was like a special key. It could be even a person if you had a really specialized workflow, like an employee, like if you had some kind of HR system, you could have people's, use the keys as anything and then reference that. Really powerful. So if we have a template, we set up the job here. So we set delayable means that we're setting up this entire request to this model as a delayable task. Then we can say delayable equals delayable dot run chain. And so here's kind of the magic line. Call the run chain method to start the AI generation process. Run chain is the method inside of my AI content generator model that actually does all of the AI processing. And you can see it always expects the template ID as the first parameter, and I use named parameters for the rest because it just makes it easier for me, at least when I'm troubleshooting and managing it, to know exactly what the data is. When I use positional parameters over about 3 or 4 parameters, it's going to start being where I'm going to make a modification, and then I have a lot of places to modify. So I like using named parameters. You can see that we have the rec IDs. This kind of shows how we're able to actually use multiple records and jobs. And there's some places where I do that in other workflows and some other parts of the framework, and it can be very powerful. We also have a last job. This is part of the chaining, because we know the last job, we can chain it to the previous job and the previous job and previous job. We have a AI template chain model that keeps track of the chain of the templates that run. And then finally, this template data record, it's actually passing in this record that we know we want to use in our template. So this is another powerful thing. You can pass on a list, not just one, but you can have a whole list of data records, and it's expecting this format. So it's in that, because all of the data, whether it's a picture or whether it's a text response, whether it's created manually or whether it's by hand, like I did here. I'm like literally creating this, not using it, the AI. I'm creating it with, code from the HTML from the front end. Makes logical sense. The AI that needs to process this, how do I get it in there? And I spent a lot of time on this design and this architecture, and I think that you'll see that the results, it's robust. I use a channel, AI generator channel here, so that and this is for the job. So the job queue that gets created has channels, and you can run on different threads and different workers. And that's another beauty of using the job queue, is once this run chain here happens, it'll immediately fall through here. And I don't need all these log statements anymore. I was like, definitely when I was testing things out and things were flaky. So if everything's good, we don't need to log anything. We'll log this. I'll say, I do want one in here. I want to say job. Let's see, let's do that. Run chain. Rim chain. Run chain. That sounds better. Run chain. Okay. So here what's nice is we could actually, I guess the way it works, and so you'll notice this return, record ID, job ID, record ID, model name. This is all still inside this classified generate records. So it's classified everything out. It's started the job, created the project, and now it's sending this stuff back. And so once it comes back, let's just finish this up by going back to the where it called it. Now, this just made me realize this is probably in the wrong place for what we want to do. So we would move this down here. I don't want to break anything, so I'm not going to do it at this point, as well as the links and things. So this is where this actually works. Log, we receive the file, and what I have not completed it out is how to utilize all these the file attachments, and so that's a part of the upgrade, and the roadmap will be to flesh out integrating files that are submitted and how they would want to be used and combined. And I tell you what, OpenAI is changing by the week, if not by the day, with the just incredible amounts of options that it lets you integrate with OpenAI. And so that's why I really think it's probably for the foreseeable future, like the Cadillac, the premier AI model for building things around. It's just very, 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 very robust. Hugging Face would be like the second one, and I have Hugging Face support. We'll go into that later. Here we extract the links that were on the page, and you'll notice that I have, like, after I do that, I'm just killing it, because if I send the links back, it'll keep spidering right now. And so I'm going to be building up a more robust web scraper that will allow you to use selectors and breaks and stops, so that you can, when it sends back these links, right now it just starts really creating a lot of data that I don't need during my testing. But the spider does actually work. It sends these links back, and when the Chrome extension receives the link, it can go to the next. It'll go to that link, and then it'll in all the links in there. But then the problem is it's almost like a recursive thing. I need more logic. But again, this is really powerful, and it's one of the reasons I went with the Chrome extension, because if it was server side, we would have just so many more problems with authentication, cookies, CAPTCHAs, any kind of things that just block web spiders. When it's running in a Chrome extension, it's just like as if you were typing it in the browser. It gives you just a lot more flexibility. We package up the payload. So this is what's going to go back to the Chrome extension. We have our success is true, the links, And that's why I empty it out here so it won't keep spider and running the spider on the Chrome extension. I have the project ID, which is I think we have a duplicate here. Yeah, so record ID and project ID are likely exactly the same data. I had swapped over to record ID on the Chrome extension so that we can create courses, or we can create products and create all sorts of things. And then we send back the model name for the same reason, that we want to keep what that is, so that it knows what model it's working with. Here I reset the colors in the log. So, I set it up at the top, I think at like blue, and then we want to reset the color. So I know anything when I look in that log and I see blue, I know I'm looking at the controller code. So it's something I've been doing a lot more in this. I hadn't used really a lot of colored logs before, but it helps me a lot in this. And then we have the return right here that says request, make response. We make sure that the response is in JSON, and we put headers here, content type application JSON, and that's it. Goes back to the Chrome extension. Now, I think everybody would like to know what the template looks like. So let's come up here, AI automation, templates, and let's look at our detail project outline. So this is what gets called and this is the template that's used when we come up here and say detailed project outline. You can see the one-to-one match here. This is detailed project outline. This is detailed project outline. I have a run direct input here that you can just type in and send information in and run the template. So this would be like, I don't need to create a project at all. And what this will literally do is it'll create data. It'll create an AI template data record set, but there won't be any model record from it. And that can be useful. There's a lot of instances in these workflows where I want data to get created, but it's not ready for the model, or that data is just used for another prompt or for another template. And so this is, it seems minor, but it actually has some power to it. Let's walk through some of the other things. Under prompt, let's just see the prompt that created that data. We have name and description as the input variables, and that's going to be literally the name and description from the project. So remember, so everything comes together for people and there's no confusion as how this works. Let's go to the classify record. We set up the data vals here with the name and description that came from the Chrome extension, and we created the record here, right? When the template runs, that name and description from that record is going to be in here. And the input variables are important because we don't want to send in all of the data from a record that could have, hundreds of fields. We want to be a little more concise and exact, keep it manageable. So that's the only two pieces of information it gets. And so let's just read through this and I'll explain why it is. I say make sure to include sufficient content in each section and subsection of the outline. Below the outline in a separate section, provide a list of 5 recommended calls to action to execute the plan. Now that's just like a kind of a specific thing for this template. It doesn't have to be in there, but I'm using that to demonstrate things. So let me go back to the project here, and we can see if we go to the bottom, recommended calls to action 5. So it created these, they had the conclusion and then recommended call of actions. So that I can kind of keep my action items separate from the project that I might want to maybe have a little bit more refined. Again, this is in early access. This is part of the development design. So I'm testing out and working through a lot of these things to make it as powerful as it can possibly be. Use the content from this HTML data to create the outline. And then you can see here, the data underscore HTML. So data underscore is kind of like the prefix to the key. So the key can be anything. I'm always going to prefix it with data underscore. And so in this case, if we go back to our code real quick, it's down here, we create the data record. There's that key HTML. So with that data underscore HTML, it knows because of the template we're on, the record we're on, and the model, Odoo model it's using, and the key, that all you need inside of your template is this data underscore HTML. But the power is you could create a record that is data underscore anything. It could be data underscore price list. It could be data underscore reviews. It's very flexible. In this case, we're using it to reference the HTML. And this is how it was able to get inside of the project outline all these domain names and from my page, and know generally what it was talking about in terms of the context of the website. They work with any website, and this is very powerful. I don't know anything out there like this, to be honest with you. Odoo provides a special opportunity because all the other systems, you're copying and pasting from ChatGPT into something, or it's a specialized system and it doesn't give you a web spider and a Chrome extension put in. It doesn't let you pass data automatically into the project. I think this is powerful. You can also see there's a lot of other metrics here. Like I can see that the exact to the 100th of a second, how much time it is taking, and actually then use that data later, perhaps to choose more appropriate models for more appropriate tasks. So there's a lot going on here. And I keep inside the job here, as you can see, all of the data. So let's look at that a little bit more. You can see that here's where the job got started, and the prompt payload was none. There was no extra prompt to it. And then this is the actual raw prompt, content prompt. So you can see that this is basically very close. I lose my, this is going to be very close to what you see here. Then you have the actual data that's getting provided. So notice here we have the information from that metadata. I actually create random strings that can be used, and I actually tested that out here. So if you go here and look, I put it in here somewhere. At the very top of the page, include a call out that is in blue and says document password random _7. Well, I don't really have a use case for putting document passwords in there. It was just a test, so I knew it worked. But there is a solid use case for these random values. Create keys that are unique, so you create IDs, specifically external IDs and record sets and things like that won't conflict with other data. So there's a lot of instances where having just a random key can help you in your template for different things. Going back a little bit more, this is just a standard thing that you use the format 1.1.1 to 2.3. And I should say, this is probably in your wrong place. I could probably move this up here, or move it down to the format. You see, I could restructure this better, and probably the best thing to do would be to copy this whole thing into ChatGPT and let it restructure it better. At the very top page, include a call out that says in blue document password. So that's why the document password is at the top, and it's always going to be at the top. Pictures. Where possible, use image links from the HTML provided. Include images in the outline. Make sure to use the source URLs with full paths so the images display correctly. All images should be 256 by 256 or smaller. Use width and height to control size. If I didn't say that, the images end up being like really, 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 really large, because it just, it doesn't really know any better. Where there are a few images in the HTML that will work for the content, very few images, please include placeholders for additional pictures that can provide more information and improve the presentation. Important. For the source of the image, use source AI automation static source image 512 ping. So this create images with, and here you can say, include in the image tag alt descriptions that can later be used for generating images by another process. So I create placeholders, and that's what this template does. It creates these placeholders with this specific source. Now, this probably needs to be refactored. I don't want to hard code it. And then on the other hand, it's not really, maybe it's not hard coded. This isn't in code. This is in a template. Maybe you want to use different placeholders. You might use different placeholders for one, like a client. If you're an Odoo integrator, you'll have your client there with their logo with placeholder. Makes it a little kind of more personalized, and you know then what template it came from. So you could use a different image for every template. And I think I had a point where I was going to move this into the model so that you, the template itself is like part of the template, not just the prompt. So we've moved this into the template itself. Use size and width to get the image perfect size so that's possible layout. Verify all the HTML is correct. Now you'll notice there's one other really important part of this prompt, and that's the output. It goes into back in the description. So it takes what's in description, it's going to be whatever it is, runs it through this template and through AI on the other side, and then it puts it back in, and that's why the template, your final result of the project, had it here somewhere. I can always get to it here. Looks like this, organized relatively and everything. Now you can see we got those 7 tasks, and those are the 7 tasks that came. I'm going to just really quickly turn over the list, and you'll see they'll have like a short kind of little segment in there. Let's really quickly jump back to the list again, select them all, and say run template wizard detailed. You could have different templates that could be more exhaustive, less exhaustive, anything you want. Run it, and now the job queues are going to queue up all those AI jobs and do everything it needs to do. Now let's I think we're kind of at the point I want to wrap this up. It's much longer than I thought, more rambling than I thought. I apologize. There's a lot to unpack here, and this is still just scratching the surface. It really is. I promise you that. As you can see, we only looked at this little bit of code here. This AI generator controller. If someone can take what I showed and they understand it and want to build it, I encourage people build AI systems in Odoo. With that said, I'm pricing this aggressively, and I can say hundreds of hours of time. Even if you're an Odoo expert, you're an Odoo developer, you can see how many different models I have here. The AI content generator alone has 761 lines of code, and we haven't even looked at it yet. And then we have the model with 380 lines of code. The AI template, a lot of comments, 678 lines of code. So on a code value and the power, along with all my Mastering Odoo development courses, you get all those now, and I've been selling them for 4 times the price of what they are. For those that have paid that, many months ago and years ago, and the people that have been buying mine, this is all free. I'm not going to charge people that bought my Mastermind edition more money for this. I said lifetime upgrades. It really was just for the course, but I haven't upgraded or created a lot of new content for the course because the Odoo framework just hasn't changed significantly enough to make that content obsolete. I'm glad now, once I started working through this AI, that this is the direction I've taken, because now I'm going to be releasing an all-new Mastermind course that will go through this in its entirety. So this is a YouTube video, probably one of the few that I'm really going to do that's going to dive deep into the code on YouTube, because what's just going to happen, people will literally just steal my ideas, steal my code, steal my work, steal my effort. It happened when I would make YouTube videos before. that I would release a YouTube video, and in 4 or 5 days, a week, someone else will come along with the exact same content, just like in their voice, slightly different, even in the same order sometimes. And with AI tools, I've been just watching tons of people that don't even really know Odoo. You're starting to see a lot of people show up that they've only been with Odoo for a few months, but with AI tools, they can create videos, and so I'm going to be focusing more on results, showing how these systems work. I'm going to be working through my site proposals. So in my master classes of all the people that are creating turnkey businesses with these AI tools and creating data with these AI tools, they're going to get to learn a lot, influence the development. So I guess I would say this: click on the links below. Like I said, it's priced as low as I can really do it for the amount of effort it takes to put in all this, as well as all the effort it takes to properly support people that are going to have questions and things like that. And I guess my message, or what I would end with, is that I'm not a genius. It took me many months to do this, and I had a lot of research. As you can see, when ChatGPT came out, that was when I began. As soon as it came out, I had to create a monopoly game in Odoo with Odoo with AI. Here's how you can create an interface to ChatGPT, and I was jumping on it in the beginning, but I stopped my YouTube channel simply because I felt like I wanted to create a different kind of content that was more deep, give people tools. And as I started working with AI, more and more companies, my time getting spent, then my site proposals with all the companies and businesses that want to see results from the YouTube channel just has to take a back seat to that. But I'm back with this, and so it's my site's going to be different. YouTube's going to be different because I'm going to be sharing results. You can see progress, and then to get deeper, get my master course. You can get mastering Odoo development, my AI tools. You get everything for life, all in one kind of big package right now. The plan is to break it apart, so there will be a professional edition, a boot camp edition, and a mastermind edition. So the mastermind edition will, of course, have all the tools like the Chrome extension and everything else. Perhaps the boot camp edition will focus on the templates and some of the automation tools, but won't include the Chrome extension. I don't know how I'm going to break it all apart, but I do think it's important to let people have different price points, and that I will at some point probably have a boot camp edition that'll be pretty much priced what the whole thing is now, is what I would be looking to do. My Odoo mastermind course has been purchased by thousands of people. My mastering Odoo development courses, and literally tens of thousands of people, and it's proven, and it's solid, and I've sold it. You get that now as part of all this, so it's kind of like free. You can see it either you're getting the free AI Accelerator automation, what you saw today, or that you're getting the AI mastermind, my mastering Odoo development for free. But for the price, you're getting two huge, what I think are value products for people that are like Odoo partners, Odoo integrators, people that work with Odoo, but also end users, people that are in an IT department and they want to use Odoo in their company. I think it's just going to be one of those things. Once this is out of early access and it's feature complete, everyone's going to want something like it. There'll be people copy it, I'm sure. And I'm going to be doing everything I possibly can to take the 45 years of experience that I've had, 40 years of experience I've had in business and technology and consulting and programming development, all my years of experience since Open ERP 6, Odoo 7, Odoo 8, Odoo 9, all that, my courses and everything. And I'm going to be putting all my attention in making this the best product, Odoo AI platform you'll find anywhere. And with Odoo 18 out, I'll certainly be supporting that. I didn't see a lot of things inside of Odoo 18. It really, people are just not operating from it, from, I think, most people at least, from where I came from at seeing it as a creator, as an integrator, as an Odoo partner. And for years and years, I was an Odoo partner. I'm not an Odoo partner right now. I would like to be to explore that possibly, but I honestly felt like it was important for me to support Odoo partners and not have them feel like I was competing with them, and that they know that I'm always an advocate for quality consulting and people that want to provide solutions, robust solutions. So I'm going to stop rambling on about this. It's been very exciting. It makes it hard to stop talking about it. In a video I thought was going to be 15 minutes long is now almost an hour. But I'm going to be releasing another video very, very soon. We'll talk a bit about the Odoo data creation and how we create templates in the process and the models and the framework for that. I plan to be having a free webinar soon. If you're interested in that, leave a comment down below. And that's going to be very important to me. I really want to see comments from people that tell me what they're looking for and what they want. But the free webinar is going to include like a master course. It'll be a lot more organized than what this YouTube video and just like kind of these videos will be. It'll also be designed to give someone, the boot camp edition of it at a discounted price, give them a chance to get started on it. I certainly realize that not everyone is a business and has, the money to spend. But what I can say is that everyone that went to Odoo Experience 2024, I'm reaching out to them partly because, and give them the discount, because I know they had to spend money. Most people probably had to fly in. You have your hotel rooms, you have the cost of the conference itself. And of course, there's going to be things that are going to catch people's attention there as well. And what I wanted to do was give an opportunity during this period to give this at a discounted price. So people that are a hyper state of interest, they think, well, you know what, I've spent this money, Odoo Experience, I can, put down the money for this, and I know I'm going to have like the best platform in terms of content generation, forward-looking integration with the internet, and looking at it from a creator standpoint, not just a chat bot, not just like an email responder, not just some kind of one-off tool, but a complete and total platform for complete automation. We have server automation. You can start servers and stop servers. I can at least show the very bones of it. So people who've hung along this long are excited. I think it's going to be okay. I probably won't get really good tracking and rankings in YouTube because of it. But for the people that stick around, they're going to get at least to see some of these things. So if I come here to my AI automation, you'll notice I have servers. I can click cloud servers here. And it has EX large. This is my Amazon AWS. And it's stopped right now. And it knows that it's stop or start. It's stopped. I can click start. And now you'll see this change in just like a second. It's pending. And I can see that the launch time has changed to just right now. And it's usually pretty quick at starting back up. And it's running. I have a server running now on AWS. Now I can stop it. Combined with the job queue, combined with the AI event system I have, the template chaining, what this really means is that you could have a server that's not costing you any money, minimal just for storage. The AI system knows it needs more resources, or a certain template needs more resources. It can start the server, send the jobs to the server with the job queue, then stop the server. And your money is only spent for the exact amount of time it takes to run the jobs. And so we're going to extend that out as well. And you can see it's already kind of the bones are there. And there's a lot of this where the bones are there. So many thanks for watching. We're like exactly at an hour now. I hope that people that are excited about this can leave comments down below. Please like, please subscribe. It helps me a lot. And I really can't wait to show you the next video. And thank everyone so much who's already purchased through the years, my mastering Odoo development courses, people that have jumped on this new AI automation tool, I can't thank you enough. And I can't wait to see you in the next video.